Famissimo, fantastic. It is Friday night. I love my outfit. Do I look like I'm going to Hawaii?
Dude, he looks great.
Do I look like I'm going to the gym?
You went to the gym in that?
I would go to the gym in this.
You should, why not?
Without the watch, though, for sure. But I would go to the gym in this.
Absolutely. Dude.
You know, I never quite understood looking good for the gym.
Neither did I.
I never quite understood that. You know, getting like the top of the line brands of like, you know.
Like Gymshark and everything?
Yeah.
It was, It was, I go to the gym in a tank top and jogging pants.
I wear whatever the hell I want because
it.
you're just going to get sweaty. You know, like what's the point of looking good in the gym? I'm not over at the gym trying to find a woman. It's kind of hard to find a woman in the gym. That's
no.
You're a creep if you do that. Shots fired, hit the deck, bang, bang. It's been a phenomenal week, man. We've had a shit ton of rain lately.
A lot. Too much.
Know, Kevin the Weatherman is back in full swing. I do this thing where it's like Kevin the Weatherman here reporting to you live from downtown Square. Hey, saw it with the waterfall falling on my face, bro. I'm a fucking idiot, man. But it works out great. A lot of people love it. And as a matter of fact, you won't believe what came across my board today.
What?
Turns out 98.5 KRZ is hiring for a broadcaster.
Nowhere.
To join the radio station. I guess Rocky, are you familiar with 98.5?
Yeah.
Rocky and Lissa, I guess Rocky had retired.
Wow.
Rocky had retired. So I'm going to throw my name in a hat.
Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, after this podcast, I'm going to go over the application.
Absolutely.
And submit an application. And it says you need a 1 to 3 minute clip of like, you know, entertainment or something. Like,
you got that.
You know, your person. I got that, right? I got that. I got the catalog for it, but it's
Absolutely.
like, what do I choose, bro? Because
over 100 episodes.
There's
a lot to choose from.
There's the Middleman Podcast. There's Kmart with 2 C's, 3, 2, 1 under the sun. Got no gun, no need to run. I'm a father, son, the only one under the sun. You know what I'm saying? You know, we have that. We have the Middleman Podcast. We have the vlogs. We have Kmart with 2 T's. Like I have all these different avenues, all these clips, because it's different settings.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when I'm in a podcast, my verbiage, you know, my interaction with the guests, you know, as compared to if I'm outside in the street doing a vlog and interacting with people are two different things,
Absolutely.
two different personalities. Yeah. And it's like, which personality do you necessarily need for the radio, right?
Yeah, to show. Yeah, that's I think you have a great personality, man. I think there should be no problem getting that for you.
So this is the hack. I appreciate that. This is the hack. I'm thinking about it right now, live and in color. To be able to make oh shit, I got it. Wow, this shit just clicked. Okay, 1 to 3 minute video, right? So I can section it of different portions.
You could do that, yeah.
Different sections of what have experienced, what I've gone through, you know, things like, you know, Kevin the Weatherman, the Middleman Podcast, you know, vlogs, stuff like that.
I think you should.
I think that's the best way to showcase
everything.
Yeah,
you get everything all in one, and it's
the max
like
capacity.
How could they deny that?
It's just hard. It's like, what do I choose? You know, because I've got
you...
some moments that are like, really, you want a personality? I'll give you a personality, bro.
Absolutely.
And it's not even like I'm faking it. This is just who I am, you know. So, but enough about me, man. That's the excitement. That's what's going on in the world of the Middleman Podcast. Atmosphere Music Festival lineup has dropped. The bill is ready August 2nd. Right now, there are early bird tickets. If you missed out on an opportunity, you weren't looking, okay? Because it's going to be done by that time. But nonetheless, it's been a fantastic week, bro. I'm glad you're here. Joining me for episode 139.
Wow.
Please welcome to the show, Los Seneca, bro. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me,
Of course, bro. I like the sweatshirt. I'm assuming that's your own merch.
Yes, it is.
Very
Custom
nice.
made,
Is there anything on the back?
Nope. This one is one of our plain ones. This is actually the first one we made. And because I was like, what's an artist without merch, you know? I started having actual traction with fans and everything. And they were like, yo, we need something. Give me something. Like, and I was like, all right, a sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And so I literally, something so simple, believe it or not, I asked my mom to make this. She did it on Cricut. Shout out to mom.
Nice.
Thank you. And yeah, man, we've actually shipped out a lot of these. So people wear in schools and everything. It's awesome. I really appreciate it.
Are you still making more merch actively?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hoodies are definitely our best sellers, along with our like long sleeve t-shirts. Those are a little different. You have the full name down the sleeve and everything like that.
Nice, bro. Very cool.
Yeah, all different colors and everything. Because when we first started making them, people were like, "Oh, we need more colors. We need more everything." And I'm like, "Shit, like cool, okay, yeah." But yeah, sweatshirts, shirts, those are definitely our biggest things. People are asking for like beanies and everything like that, which we'll get to in due time. But yeah, as of right now, Sweatshirts and shirts.
Well, listen, you have more to me, man. Merch is one hell of a avenue to go down. I've gone that avenue. It's very difficult, but just for people to want your merch is really, really cool, especially, cool. T-shirts. If you hand delivered any of these, or were people just buying them offline and got them shipped? Did you ever see an unboxing of anything like that?
Yeah, so it's crazy. Most of them have been shipped. And, usually they'll ask me to like sign it and everything. And I'll put it. Yeah, it's cool, right? So I'll put it in like the box and I'll ship it to them. And they'll usually like, tag me in like a photo on their Instagram story saying they got it and everything. Yeah. So it's an unreal feeling, man. I'm definitely thankful for that.
Well, then I'm going to need to get myself a shirt, bro. I
absolutely.
appreciate
it. For free. Absolutely for free.
I thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. I'm all about wearing anyone's merch, bro. I got a plethora of artists who have given me shirts, whether it be just anyone who's been on a show, they have given me a handful of things. And to think about it, this set is like really intertwined with the people who have been here, man. Yeah. Just some of the pieces that are on the wall, some of the pieces up above me right here. It's just all from people who have been on the show. So you guys have been phenomenal, giving me, just the slightest gestures of kindness and appreciation. And I love that. I appreciate that, man. So, you started music. I took a look at your Spotify profile, and it says that you were born in December 27th, 2002.
Close.
29th.
Yeah, 29th.
I knew I was close. It was one of the two.
Kudos.
But, music for you has started quite some time ago, definitely like probably 6 to 8 years at this point.
As far as like writing and everything. Yeah, probably. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what made you, I listened to your music. I listened to the guys who you sample from. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, I can see who his inspirations are. But other than the inspirations who may have, you had appreciation for their words and their artistry, why did you choose music for yourself as a personal venture, a personal journey to go on? So
that's a great question. First of all, great question. My family has always been in the music, kind of like atmosphere in a sense. My aunt was an Italian singer all the way in Italy and everything like that. She was very close to,1reaching the, hierarchy. Okay. But she ended up having my cousin and everything like that. So, my grandfather was a producer, and my parents, they always listen to any kind of music there is. So, it was always something of an interest to me. When I first started down like this path, I guess you could say, my first thought was like an actor.
Okay.
So I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm gonna be an actor and everything. But then, bro, something just clicked for me in music where I just started literally just writing what came to my mind and like kind of like the stories I wanted to tell. And that's kind of just what clicked for me, man. Especially, I really, really got into it like sophomore year of high school was like when I released my first stuff. But, the thing that really got me into it was I think 2016, you'll never believe this, the movie Straight Outta Compton came out.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was like, yo, shit. So I started listening to like, my parents always listened to like Biggie and everything like that. But I really like NWA was my thing for like the longest time. So that's, I guess, I started writing so much shit that was whack, but we're here now.
Hey, at least you're being honest with yourself, right? We all got to start somewhere. We just did a freestyle, by the way, before the cameras went on, and he schooled me in it, respectfully. I dibble, I dabble, but I'm not a pro. And he came in here like, hey, I don't really do that, but I would do my best. And he was capping. There's full cap to his rap. He definitely had a flow. He had a cadence. You had the whole thing going, bro. So
thank you, bro.
It seems like you've come a long way from the beginning.
My God. Yeah, seriously. Like, terrible.
So you were talking about an actor. To be an actor. And then all of a sudden, something clicked and it was music. Did you ever like pursue anything in an acting career? Oh,
absolutely.
Would you venture off in there? I want to hear about these side quests.
Oh God.
Before Los became Los. I'm gonna call you Los.
Absolutely, man. Call me anything. So back when I was in middle school, I started, they had like this acting class or whatever. So I took the acting class, and then the Scranton Cultural Center was doing a play called The Happy Elf with, it was written by like Harry Connick Jr. from American Idol, whatever.
Okay.
So I did it. I actually did the entire play. And so many people came. Now, listen, I was an extra. It wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, I got to meet
what was your extra job? What were you doing in the back? Were you sweeping? What were you doing?
Actually, one part I think I was sweeping.
Wow.
I was
Ain't that some shit?
Pulling some cloth or something. Dude, opening night, I'll never forget. Like, we had to walk in this line. And I'm walking, and they gave us, obviously, the costume was an elf and everything. Yeah. My hat attached to somebody else's. So like the whole theater's packed and my hat just goes like that right off my head. And I go in the back. I'm like, I got no hat, bro. So I don't know. That was definitely one. And I took acting class in high school and everything. You know, they gave me a lot of opportunities. Speaking of Star Wars, which I know you're a big fan of.
Yes, correct.
And I am too. A play that I did in school was actually, I did it with my friend, Wheeland, and we reenacted the Anakin versus Obi-Wan battle on Mustafar.
Sick. Yeah.
Crazy. I got A+.
That's fun, man. That's a lot of fun. Well, so it sounds like you did the acting a little bit, and then you decided to go into music because of the NWA, Straight Outta Compton movie. What did you love so much about that movie that it was just like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to pursue this career in music.
Yeah. So it was like, I would always like, obviously during, the acting stuff and everything, it's, you start to venture into other fields that are kind of similar to this. So music, I kind of started writing. I actually literally had a composition notebook that I bring with me everywhere. And I just write and write and write. And then when I saw Straight Outta Compton come out, watching their stories and everything like that. And, seeing that it's possible no matter what, that kind of inspired me like, damn, bro, like, fuck it, let's do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why not? I have, some kind of pen, you could say.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me just focus. Let me try to, it's always something I wanted to do. So, why not pursue it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think about the closest, I've never seen Straight Outta Compton. I haven't seen that movie.
Really?
I haven't seen that movie. But, I think about the Wu-Tang series.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like that to me, watching that series, really getting an understanding of, where they came from and how they started recording and so on and so forth. I'm assuming Straight Outta Compton's probably along the same lines like that.
Yeah, origin story, everything like that.
Yeah, that's all really dope, bro. To find an inspiration within those old school hip hop artists is definitely key. Speaking about hip hop right now, it's in a freaking uproar because of Joey Badass, fucking Ab Soul, and Big Sean, man.
I
Like
know.
that right there is lyricism. Those are MCs, man. And listening to your music, I'm sure you had an appreciation for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Lyricism was always something that I tried to not perfect in a way, because, nothing's ever perfect, but I definitely try to make that my front too, because, and you see a lot of rappers have a lot of different styles and everything, but it just didn't fit what I wanted to do personally. I always felt like I had like a certain flow to me. And that's always been one of my biggest compliments. So I just, I like doing lyrical shit.
You do have a flow. You have a cadence. Like, I think if anyone were to become a fan of you and listen to you on a consistent basis, after a while, if you give them a song and they don't know that you're on it, I think they'll be able to tell if you're on it based off your cadence and your flow. And,
Thank you.
And the way you sound. You have a very distinct way of knowing that it's Los on the track. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Los on the track.
Los on the track. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Los Seneca, right?
Okay.
Let's talk about your name. That's a very unique name.
Thank you.
Went ahead and I'm unfamiliar with the term Seneca, so I went on Google and I found something interesting. But I want to hear why you chose Los Seneca, knowing that you are from Queens.
Right.
I hear it in the accent.
Thank you.
And doing a little bit of research, I think those two correlate, but I want to hear
do.
why you chose Los Seneca.
So back when I first started this whole rap kind of thing, I started under a different name. Horrible. I let my cousin pick in. He was like, "Yo, you should do this, man." I'm like,
Cheesy Bread.
No, it was actually, so it was my actual name, Mateo, but with like a little dash in the middle of it, separating the two T's. And that's where that horrible. So one day I'm literally brainstorming and I'm just like, it took me a couple hours. I was like, man, like, what do I want my name to be? Because it sticks with you forever. So I'm like, what is it? What's something that's like personal to me? Because you got, everybody has their own, names and everything like that, that some will be like, oh yeah, I just randomly chose it. Like for me, I wanted it to mean a little more. So Seneca Ave, 504 Seneca Avenue is where I was born and, raised in Queens. That's where we lived.
Gotcha.
In the apartment building that my grandfather built and everything. So I took that, but also like dream in a sense was always like Los Angeles. Like Los Angeles, that's where like the magic happens, so to say, right? So it was always like not necessarily going to the place, but so I put the two together, and it's basically where I came from to where I want to go.
Gotcha.
In a sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, that's really dope. Okay. So Seneca. I didn't even think about that because I think about your debut album and it all makes sense now.
Yeah.
But Seneca. So I went ahead and I went on Google and I was like, what does Seneca mean? Do you know what Seneca means?
Seneca, like the word itself or the philosopher?
Just the word itself, not the philosopher.
I've heard a couple different variables of the word, but nothing coming to mind.
So it says Seneca right here, a member of an Iroquoian. I said that wrong. I know I did. A language family of Eastern North Americans, including the language of 5 nations: Tuscarora, Huron, Wyandot, and Cherokee.
Wow.
And Cherokee is the only one that is not extinct, it says.
Wow.
So I was like, okay. And ironically, it's like they were all from New York. Like that's kind of like a thing. It's like the Seneca. Like you are a part of a language family. Like to me, when they say language family and the names that I'm the names that I'm reading here, like Tuscarora, Cherokee, I'm thinking Native. I'm thinking Native American. You know, that's
absolutely
what I'm thinking. And that's why I was like, is he Native American by chance?
I don't think so.
Hey, you got to go through the, what is it?
23andMe?
Yeah, exactly. 23andMe. But yeah, that's what I found. And I thought that was very interesting. But knowing that, you grew up there, you were born there. Now it all makes sense. It's all coming together. It's all coming together. So that's really cool, man. So Los Seneca, LA, you have high hopes and dreams to get to LA, which you have been to LA.
I have, yeah.
And we're going to talk about that. But I think it's very important to talk about, your debut album, stuff like that. Because now knowing that the name intertwines with where you grew up, that debut album, what's the title of it again?
It's called What I Found.
What I Found. I thought it was Seneca Ave. So
that's actually the first mixtape I dropped.
Oh.
That was, Seneca Avenue.
Okay.
Then it's Man of the Year.
Yes.
And then it will be What I Found.
Okay, so What I Found is your debut album?
Debut studio album. So
debut studio
Right.
album.
So first 2 were mixtapes.
Got it.
And it says, I guess because...
Well, it's unique that you label them as mixtapes.
Yeah.
Why do you label them as mixtapes?
Because I never wanted to kind of have like... Obviously, that's, my older stuff and everything like that. But when I was just writing and I was like, man, like, I have so much that I want to just put pen to paper and get it out. It's like, when I first really started, I wanted it to be in like a mixtape form. You know what I mean? Like, just listen to bars, listen to what I can do and everything like that. Man of the Year kind of tells a story in a sense, but, I still wanted to keep that in mixtape form because I wanted to save like a full story and kind of, the next heights as like a first official studio album. So that's kind of the lane I was trying to go with it.
So when you were putting together your first mixtape, it was all you doing that, or were you working with
it was all me.
All you. Okay.
Literally me in my mama's basement.
So you
with
learned like
mic.
FL and everything like that by yourself?
Yeah. I know how to do all that. Yeah. It took some time, but I got FL thanks to my cousin. Thank you, Nino. Because he got
plug.
Yeah, not literally plug.
Yeah,
because he got a Razer computer or something, and they gave it for free, which is weird because Razer's like a gaming computer. But I was like, yo, man, like I'm really thinking about this music stuff, and FL's like $500, and obviously I'm like 16 at the time, so it's like she's like, all right, here, just take my login, and he gave it to me. So I literally learned how to use it, and I recorded the whole thing by myself.
Damn, bro.
Yeah,
time and time again. Probably sitting there getting frustrated.
Yeah.
Learning how to do this, learning how to do that. But I'm sure it's molded you into the artist that you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. You need that.
What were some of the challenges that you went through while trying to learn FL, produce by yourself? If someone is trying to emulate and do something like that, what would you tell them to look out for as they're starting out?
Starting on so FL can be definitely an intimidating platform because you go on and you're like, what the hell do all these buttons mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, shit. Yo, shout out Nezo, and shout out Steve's PA, man. I see these guys use these things, and it's unbelievable.
It is,
bro.
yeah. It's powerful.
Some of the pop-up windows that they bring up, one looks like a freaking sphere. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I know.
Like,
what
are you doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But I'm sorry, continue. My apologies.
No, you're good. You're good. So, it's a lot of, it's difficult at first, but once you got your basics, like the recording button and everything like that, which at first, believe it or not, I never recorded inside FL Studios.
Okay.
I recorded on Audacity.
Yeah.
Which is, you start out with Audacity.
So super user friendly.
Yeah, no, literally.
The Middleman Podcast started on Audacity.
Yeah, see, yo. So, Audacity I started out on. And at the time, I had what was it? I think I had a Yeti microphone at the time. So it was just
Okay.
USB plug-in.
Yeah.
And that was what worked for me. So you know how a lot of like obviously I do it now where it's like you have your headphones in and you're listening to yourself as you're recording, you know, to kind of give you that, okay, here's what I did wrong, here's this. I didn't have that when I first did it. So I literally would record on Audacity with the beat from FL playing in my headphones. And then I'd have to save it, download it, drag it into FL. So if I was like, fuck, I fucked up, erase it, go back again and do it.
Oh man.
Yes.
Just time after time again. So what were some of the first tracks that you laid out and who were the people that you showed it to?
So man, first tracks like on the mixtape.
Yeah.
So I think This Is Us, which actually became quite a popular track. It got a couple thousand plays. I don't know what it's at now, but it was one of the first tracks I think where I really showed my lyricism in a sense, and that the engineering didn't sound so horrible. So I showed that actually to my cousin Nino, who gave me the FL, because he was, you know, he's always been there for me, and he's always like, yo, like I really believe you can do this, whatever. And he's always had, not that he does music because he doesn't, but he's always had an ear for it. Like, yo, like do this shit over again. This shit sucks. Like he'll tell you straight up. So I sent that to him, and he was like, wow, good shit. Like, you'll never get more from him from that, but that's it. And I was like, damn, all right. Like I might have something here. So
Yes.
yeah, that was probably like the first I was really proud to show.
You showed that one, and like, what is that the first one that you released, or
Yeah.
So so you released that one. This Is Us. I will apologize because I did not get to that track. Because you do have a lot of tracks, respectfully.
Yeah,
like
no,
you do have a
absolutely.
plethora of tracks, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, like which one do we go to?
I
You
know.
know,
I like to keep my catalog long.
yeah, you do have a very decent catalog. I have some tracks here. We're definitely going to get into them as well. But This Is Us, first track, the public, right?
Mhm.
The people who are, you're probably still in school, right?
So yeah, so so take it back. The first ever track that I released to the public was under my other
Alias.
yeah. So I dropped it. It was, and I didn't tell anybody. I actually didn't tell anybody I was doing the music thing, because I was like, you know what, let me see what I can do. And obviously, yeah, I'm like 15. I was like, man, I don't need anybody like you know, saying whatever. So I dropped it. It was actually called Can't Save Everyone. I made the beat on that and everything. Looking back now, I mean, God, but my friend Sebastian was the only one who knew that I dropped it. He literally didn't tell me, but he posted it on his Snapchat story. The next day in school, everybody's coming up to me like, some good, some bad.
Yeah.
But you know, you're gonna get that. So
Yeah.
I took it on the chin. But that was like, yeah, my first release. And then yeah, Los Seneca kind of started out with like a lo-fi rap,
Okay.
which is crazy. But you know, it was during the time of like COVID was still a thing and
Yeah.
everything. So what else?
Just dibble dabbling. You know?
Yeah, man. I like to, one of my biggest things I like to, you know, humble myself on is I like to do a lot of different things within the rap hemisphere. You know, I don't like to be like, oh yeah, Los Seneca's that lyrical guy or trap guy or something. You know, I like to do everything because you never know what fans are going to like. So, you know, I like to split it up.
You like to do a lot of open verses, I've noticed. You like to do a lot of open
Yeah.
verses, and I think that is the best way for people to understand that there's different layers of your rap style, you know, because there are songs that are singing, there are songs that are heavily, you know, bar heavy, you know, things like that. So I definitely think that that is the best way for people to get a true understanding of, you know, all of the sounds that you can produce, especially because you're choosing songs that are extremely popular,
Yeah.
and you're able to have the open verse on it and just spit on it, man. So I see that, and you don't freestyle
thank you.
those, bro.
So,
Maybe
some of the-
every
yeah,
so
some-
slightly, every now and then.
Yeah, I try to. When I turn on the camera, I'll spit whatever's really coming in my head.
Uh-huh.
You know, some of them I'll write down quickly, and I'll be like, all right, for an open verse like video, realistically, you only need so many seconds to just grab the people's attention and get them to watch. You know, it doesn't need to be a full song. So, you know, I write a couple bars or whatever, and then I'll do it that way. Yeah, some of them freestyle, some of them all right.
Some of them are pretty dope, bro. I like
Thank
them.
you.
I think they're really dope. There's a
appreciate
few of them
that.
we could talk about as well. I just lost my train of thought because I'm gonna bring it back around town. Your inspirations, the people who you listen to.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take a jab. I know one who you definitely listen to.
Let me hear it.
But I'm gonna go with Mr. Cole. J. Cole is definitely one of those guys.
I do.
And I'm gonna say probably one of your top guys, maybe one of the guys that you might, you know, style your base your style off of, I would say, is the man, the myth, the legend, Logic.
Interesting. So yes, I did You got it. He was one of my early inspirations, kind of after
Young Sinatra.
Yeah, young Sinatra. You know, you have that. You know, you especially during high school and everything. Like, yeah, Logic is like, oh yeah, like, and that was actually the first concert I ever went to.
No shit, me too.
Which one? Bobby Tarantino too?
I've been to that one. I've been to that one, bro. My first one was Logic and G-Eazy. My first concert ever was Logic and G-Eazy, bro.
That's crazy.
And the guy who made Fuck Donald Trump. What is that? YG Money? I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
That was the bill, bro. That was a fucking kick-ass show.
Yeah, dude. That's the first concert I ever went to was the Bobby Tarantino 2 tour in Madison Square Garden. And
oh shit, Madison Square Garden.
MSG, man.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That was the Red album cover, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Red album cover? Yeah,
that
I think
was
I
like
saw
with
that in
the bloody
Fillmore.
hand and everything.
I saw that in the Fillmore, I think. Oh, yeah, with the
bloody hand, yeah. So that was back in when he dropped that, like 2018, I think. That was first one. Had a time of my life. It was awesome, and it was awesome.
So if Logic is not maybe your top inspiration, and the only reason I'm saying Logic is because I did notice that a handful of your songs, the samples, the beats, were Logic songs. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, this guy likes Logic. And that's cool because to me, like, Logic is really one of my favorite rappers.
Me too.
Like,
absolutely.
People are like, people slander Logic. And I'm like, what's wrong with you?
That's what I'm saying.
That guy's, he's pretty nice.
I like Logic.
He's pretty nice.
Definitely. You got it right. Definitely one of my top inspirations. Definitely. Especially, you know, the way and the beats he chose, it's just, they were so good. It's just like, I have to do something with that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'll try to find it and let me spit on it just a little bit.
Who are some of the other inspirations other than the people that I've named?
So yeah, you got J. Cole. I think Mac Miller's definitely up there.
Mac Miller, you did have another. You had a sample Mac Miller song.
I did, yeah. Yep. See, the sample is definitely one of my favorite things to do, especially off of artists that I like. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Mac Miller. Obviously, you got, you know, old school like Tupac and Biggie and NWA, like I mentioned. You know, I know he's controversial, but back in the day,
Mr. Kanye. I did notice you do like a lot of Kanye too. Mr. Rick Ross, yeah. So, you know, they're what I would say is definitely my biggest inspirations, you know. Ice Cube. Ice Cube's another one. Big Ice Cube fan. So that's a first. I respect that. Yeah. Ice Cube, today was a good day.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there. Yeah, man. I love, and they kind of all molded in different ways to become like my own version of myself, I guess. It's weird how to like say that, but yeah, you know, you kind of take inspirations from everybody and kind of fit your own style, you know? So yeah, that's definitely,
It's like everything. All right. So it's hard to say. I've heard people say nothing's original. It's just altered, you know, it's like we're all kind of just trying to alter it and make it fit our own style, you know? So, but then again, it's still original because you're altering it a little bit, but there's no shame in like, if you made a fire shirt, I'm going to take that shirt and I'm going to make it my own.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not copying you, but
my own inspiration.
I'm going to make it my own inspiration. Yeah. Exactly, man. So it seems like you have a great plethora of artists that you know, listen to and get inspiration from. What's your writing process like, man? What's like, so being a lyricist, you know, you gotta have, in my eyes, you gotta have a drive to want to learn every single word in a freaking dictionary. Am I right? Like you're probably constantly always looking for new terms,
absolutely,
new words, you know. So like, talk to me about that, the word development, especially as a lyricist. You know, that's something that you want to hone in on.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the whole writing process in general. I mean, especially with being something like a lyricist, which I know a lot of other artists go through as well. It's testing at the end of the day, and you can get burnt out really quickly because it's like, okay, this. Fuck, what's the next line? What now? What am I trying to? Am I trying to tell a story? Am I just trying to show my swagger? Am I like, you know? So it's really, I kind of, most of the time when I write, believe it or not, it will kind of be in my car.
Okay.
So not the safest thing. Not the safest thing for sure. But
wait, as you're driving?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
Definitely not. But it I'll like play a beat and I'll just be like dun, 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 cause like I try to get the flow first. So with any beat that I have, and I'll just literally just start spewing the most random shit like da 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 da, like this is how I roll type shit.
Yeah.
And just get the flow. And then usually how it comes is I'll say a line, like it'll come to me while I'm doing that. And I'm like, shit, that's it right there. Bounce off that.
Yeah.
And then I just like boom, 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 boom. And a lot of the times, like even when I'm sitting down, like in the studio, I'll just be on a tangent. So like if I'm in the writing creative process, let me be in the writing creative process. I'm going to just go, and I'm not going to, stop or something. And I'm just going to, it piles. It really piles on top of, each other.
Do you kind of just run and gun once your pen starts going?
Yeah. I mean, most of the times it'll be like, all right, like I'm in a rhythm, I'm in a groove. Like it'll just come to me. It's so crazy how it works, but it'll just all start coming to me. And then, obviously you're trying to, because at the same time as I'm writing, I'm going to try to rap on the beat to make sure I sound and I got the flow right with what I'm saying. Because sometimes your syllable count will be too high, and then it's like, this doesn't work because it just sounds off. So you'll be changing things. You'll be doing everything right in the middle of that.
Do you ever like read any poetry or anything like that?
I do actually. I've read a lot of poetry in my day, and it also helps that my mom actually was a poet. So she actually had this whole like book of just poetry because I guess she was a published poet as well. So
very cool.
Yeah. And I think it was something like from time to time, I'll just open it and I'll just, read her poetry, because why not? It helps in a sense to get the juices flowing and everything.
Creative minds, bro. Poetry is definitely the way to go,
Absolutely.
Man. What I really enjoy about, music and, lyricism and stuff is when lyrics, like they use a word, like let's just say frame, and then they like use the next word, but they alter a word that doesn't even rhyme with frame. But they make it rhyme with frame because they use a cadence in that, you know, and that has to do with the syllable count you had mentioned, syllable count. That's one of the things that I'm sure every artist, looks at, but you're probably looking at it a lot more because of how you want your flow and your cadence to be.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's definitely, like I said, it could burn you out really quickly. So, when you're in a groove, try to get as much as you can out of that groove.
So if you're burnt out, how do you get back to it?
Honestly,
what do you usually do
when I'm burnt out? I'll play beats. I'll play as many beats, because I have like this whole, and obviously from back in the day, doing this a couple years now, it's like you have a stockpile of just random beats you have in your computer or flash drive. So I'll just play each one. And then until like, I'm like, oh, all right, like I'm feeling this. And then, like I said, something will just come to me, like a word or something. And then I'll build off that. It's a long process. It's definitely not like, oh yeah, like sometimes it can be really quick, but I just try to do what I've done before, or take a break sometimes. If you're burnt out, I just take a break.
What is one of your like favorite bars that you've ever said, like where you said,
I was hoping you
and
asked that
like,
question.
and you're like, fuck, like, damn, did I really just say that shit?
Damn, I have a couple. I definitely have a couple.
Top five,
top
top five, top three, whatever comes to mind.
Definitely. So I wrote this song called "Dear God," and some people argue it's like my best song or whatever, because I'm spitting probably some of the most realist shit I've ever said.
I thought Suicidal Thoughts was
also real.
We'll fucking talk about that one.
Yeah, that one that's oldie. Yeah, oldie but a goodie. I think, damn, dear God, man. Thank you for this life I was given. When I was younger, I was showing everyone the vision. Sorry, I gotta get to it 1 second.
No problem.
They was always laugh past the joke, so I took it as ignition, like the fire to the mission. I've been talking all my shit just so people sit and listen. I'm the type to disagree with whatever's really written. Guess I'm different now. If you ain't here by my side to show me how. Not crazy in religion, but when you're born, you pass a vow. I'm thankful I'm alive, but goddamn, this is crazy. All these fake labels out here really trying to act to play me. They don't see behind the curtain, so they write you off as lazy.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites. When I wrote that, I was like, I said that? Like, you ever see like Lil Wayne, like, I said that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites. One of my newer songs I did, it was a quick bar, like even like Wicked, for example, was one of my newer songs. And
Wicked
I think
is a wicked song.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I thought I spit good. Like the whole song, I could just pick it apart of like
Yeah.
what's my favorite. Like even when I start and I'm like feeling like I'm bipolar sunshine. These rappers need my lifeline. Said they need the verse, but I'm gonna audit when it's crunch time. Like or one in particular where it was like, I'm great at what I do. Even Christians know that. That's why my boy Chris feeling safe to show that. My boy's name is Christian. So Christian, who's also a Christian, his name is Chris.
A good old double entendre.
Exactly.
That's also one of my favorite things to do. In the freestyle to double entendre something, bro. It's crazy. Like I was telling you about the gesture and a gesture and a gesture. Jester, and Chester. Watch out.
Yeah, he's coming.
I said this one bar the other day, bro, and it was like when I said it, I was like, "What?" I have to show you after the pod.
Yeah, absolutely.
After the pod, I'll definitely show you I remember what it is. I remember what it is. All right. I was like, bro, it's so stupid.
Say that
but
shit.
it was I was like, okay, hold on. The Cuban Missile Crisis. All right, hold on. Chill out. Cuban Crystal Crisis. I got all this ice around my neck. You could call it a Cuban Crystal Crisis. I'm the nicest. Fuck you and ISIS. You ain't like this. What?
Yo, excuse me?
I gotta go.
I should be interviewing you, bro.
Yeah, bro. Cuban Crystal Crisis. I'm like, yo, but it's so funny because it like started. You ever have this moment where you were saying that you're in the studio, you're over there, you're catching a flow, you say a bar, and you're like, wait, hold up. This was me, Cuban Crystal Crisis, and it sounded stupid the first time I said it. And then like I said it more and more, and I was like, okay, then we can follow it with this, that, this, that. Isn't that really, really cool when you start and you scratch stuff out, man?
Absolutely.
You have to, right?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, that's not
it. Change it with this, or this fits better. It's like, damn, I really want to keep this bar, but unfortunately, it just doesn't work. So you got to take it out.
I mean, being able to recognize that yourself as an artist is really dope, man. That's good. Who do you work with? Nowadays, are you working with a team? You had mentioned you're in a studio, you're producing an album.
Yeah. So I have my DJ J-Ro.
Shout out
DJ J-Ro. We've worked together for a little bit. And he's really picked up on his engineering aspect. So that was great. We clicked. We met one day. And it was a fit from there. But who's my main guy right now? It was probably be Christian Johnson. He's my producer who is out in LA that I've known for years now. But he's definitely a big help, especially when it comes to figuring out different kind of flows and different ways of actually producing music. He's I'm not gonna say his business or whatever, but he's done a lot in his time, so to speak, right?
Respect.
He's done a lot in his time. So he definitely knows what he's doing, and his creative energy and his just the things he can create is just, I will say, it's just absolutely crazy.
How beneficial is that to you? How has he elevated you as an artist?
So, yeah, I mean, hell, he's still elevating me to this, to now, because it's, he'll literally, with him being in the industry for so long as he was and everything, he knows right off the bat, like, nah, your flow is garbage. And you
need that though. You need that.
It's it's a love-hate relationship because he's a tough cookie. So,
I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, as
tough.
long as, but listen, I mean, the good news is when he tells you that it's good,
it's good.
He means it.
It's good.
He means it for sure.
Exactly.
Well, shout out Chris there, man. I want to talk about some of the tracks here that I have laid out.
Sure.
But first, I just want to talk about your Spotify profile here, just because I have it written down. If you guys don't know, check out Spotify. Make sure you guys follow him. Los Seneca. I don't know how Apple works, but Spotify.
On all platforms. Yeah, see, Spotify.
And I like to look at artists' profiles, know, when I see them, and I'm glad to see when an artist does have one, because it's like, if you don't, I'm like, what are we doing here? You got to give the people something, So it says here, born in Queens, introspective lyrics, deep personal journey, and a canvas. You look at music as a canvas for truth and aspirations. Okay. With each verse, you aim not to only entertain, but to provoke and challenge social norms.
I try to. Sometimes it's when you're writing music, you think to yourself like, shit, man. Especially like with the world and how it is today. Yeah. It's just like, you never want to say the wrong thing because you could be, that's it. It's over. But I try to push the limits in a sense of like what, obviously, nothing like offensive or anything like that. But what can I say? Like, for example, Dear God, like that's a song where it's like, I guess you could say, thank you. Yeah. And some would say anger towards,
a religion aspect,
which some people will be like, no, like, fuck that, whatever the case is. Yeah. But obviously it's not my intention to make some angry, but I'm definitely trying to push the limit on
You're trying to make someone raise an eyebrow.
Make you think, you know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of times it's like, you know, you put music on to numb your brain, which I got songs for that too, absolutely. And if you just want to vibe out, but sometimes you're looking for, and it'll catch people off guard, you know? Just they'll be like, wait, what? And they'll have to go back and just really listen.
Have you ever had an experience where a fan or maybe a colleague or a friend of yours was just like, hey, what did you mean by that? Because that was a little... And I feel like if we're going to refer to any song, it might actually be the Suicidal Thoughts song.
Yeah. So, Suicidal Thoughts was on the mixtape, Kicking It on Los Seneca Ave.
Yeah. Let's talk about Suicidal Thoughts, man, because I got right here. I'm like, you want to know what I wrote in parentheses?
Please.
Whoa.
It's, dude, man, that was off the first mixtape, right? Which
yes.
crazy. Yep. That's a long time ago. It's crazy because, you know, you drop songs in the past and they start to pick up. Like now, it's crazy you mentioned Suicidal Thoughts because that's starting from what I've noticed in my catalog and like stream count and everything. That's becoming one of my higher ones.
It's making its way to the top.
Right, which I think it's on, it's like Spotify shows you like a top 10 or something.
I think it's like 4 or 6.
Which blows my mind.
It's like 4 or 6, bro.
Yeah, which blows my mind because obviously I, you know, engineered that and everything myself. I thought it didn't sound quality-wise best, but I guess with what I'm talking about, it raises eyebrows. Because it's like
relatable.
Yeah. And it, you know, it's definitely during that time of making that mixtape, you know, you get in, for me, I was in a dark place, of course, you know, everybody has those moments.
Yeah.
So it's really, that's a song where I wanted to be like, damn, I cannot be the only one feeling like this. So I had to put the pen to paper and just provoke that thought of, you know what, if you don't want to say it, I will.
When you wrote that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going through a dark place. You're basically clearing your mind. You're putting the pen to paper and just dispersing and putting it out there in the world. When you were writing it and when you were recording it, were the feelings the same through and through?
Yeah, no, I
when you were recording it, were you like, wow, am I really fucking saying this right now?
Yeah, you know, sometimes, especially in that aspect, you're like, damn, maybe this one should just stay in my little files, not to be seen, you know? Because it's like, there's some, of course, you know, deep shit. So it's like, super deep shit.
I mean, the
so
title
it's like,
in itself is.
Title in itself, yeah, is very like, like, let me think about that second look. But, yeah, it's definitely when you're recording, like writing it, you know, you're definitely in your own shell in a sense. And then when you record it, you're really saying that shit out loud. And you're like, damn. This is me.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of crazy.
And in the beginning of the track, there is an Apple phone call.
Yeah.
You know, going on, and then you get into it, and then the song ends with a gunshot and a voicemail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Man. That was just like, that was you throwing into creative art.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because it's definitely, you know, along with saying your own personal feelings, a lot of times what I like to do in my songs is create a story.
Are we emulating a phone call with someone in that song?
Yeah, because, you know, in an event of something like that, obviously, you know, it would be, because phone call in the beginning, the phone rings.
Yeah.
It was me talking to somebody.
Got it.
So originally I was supposed to have my cousin Nino on the other end of it, but he was like, like, I don't know, man, you know, like, whatever, he's shy in a sense, whatever case is. But yeah, it was essentially a phone call to somebody, and then, you know, the story ends in a sense.
It's a very hard story there, man. It's a very hard story.
Thank you.
Sorry, I think Michael has something to say.
Does it have a lot of influence from Biggie Smalls?
It does. Yeah, no, absolutely. When I was talking about, and thank you for that comment. I didn't know. Yeah, so
with P. Diddy.
Yeah.
P. Diddy's on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it took those. Oh God, P. Diddy. Yeah.
His court case is active right now.
Yeah.
Michael doesn't say much, but when he does,
thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it definitely took some inspiration from that. Because obviously you listen to that song too, and he was talking about a lot of deep shit as well. So it's, let me tell my own story in a sense of around that and what I'm feeling. You know, that's definitely a great song if nobody's ever heard it before.
It is. It's ironically, as you said, just making its way up the charts, man. And you know, with that being said, do you think you would ever do anything with that song, like maybe a music video, or maybe promote it a little bit more? Is that anything that you thought about? It's really odd, right?
I probably should, in a sense. It's definitely one of those moments where it's like, you know, subject matter and everything, but it's like you said, I mean, it is climbing, and I gotta be honest, that was not one of the songs I was expecting. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because that's I probably should, promote stuff more. That's why I like to leave a lot of my back catalog from back in the day, because it's when somebody's discovering me or something, they have so much to go through instead of like, I'm finding this guy off his new album.
They really do, man.
Yeah,
And that's great for me as a podcaster to be able to go through and listen and pick out a few songs, bro. Like, there's just a lot of songs, and not to mention there's also singles.
Yeah.
On top of those, you
I
know.
love
So
singles.
I did notice one thing though. Maybe I overlooked it. You don't have a lot of features.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. It's definitely something I'd like to explore. I have asked, but I've gotten asked to feature on a lot of artist songs, and it's definitely something I'm very open to. So if anybody got any features, let me know, we'll chop it up.
Yeah,
but,
man.
it's definitely something I'm open to. But yeah, especially when I was starting, it was never like, I kind of wanted to build myself up first before I had the liberty of being on a track with somebody else, because I wanted, when I'm on a track with somebody or, in the future, I definitely want it to be like boom, 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 like that same level. I want us to feed off each other and really create something special, and back then, especially, it's like, all right, well, I'm not at my best, so how am I going to be able to give that to the other artists that I'm going to be, respectfully on the song with? I think they deserve and are owed that kind of same energy in a sense.
Good on you, bro. You have a lot of respect for yourself as an artist, as a person, and you respect the game as well.
Absolutely.
So good on you to have that
Thank
within
you.
yourself, man. I got a few more tracks here I want to talk about.
Please.
Another one that I have here was No Response.
I knew that was coming.
No Response.
I knew that was coming.
That's number 2 or number 1 on the
I think
list.
it's number 2 now because another one that I dropped took over, which
Yes.
shocks the shit out of me.
Number
but
2, No Response. I have here, it was a real melodic.
Yeah.
Real melodic flow.
absolutely. Yeah.
No Response. You have a lot of lyrics, bro, and I wish that I could like pick a lyric to pull out from there. But talk to me about No Response. What were you trying to portray in that song to the people?
So No Response is actually a crazy, crazy story. That was actually one of my earlier releases that I dropped, and it was during like late 2020, like early 2021 in a sense. Obviously you had all the stuff going on, and I was going through a lot of personal stuff. So I heard the beat, and I got sent the beat, and I was like, damn, like this is really something that I could use, especially right now in this moment. So it was kind of like a letter in a sense to the people around me of what's really going on. I know a lot of people, when they have heard it, especially that people that know me, have cried a little bit, which you hate to see. But obviously during the time for me as an artist, it's something that I felt I needed to portray, and clearly from the numbers that I've seen, it's one of my biggest songs, which blows my mind. I have a love-hate relationship with No Response. I definitely don't like to play it as much.
Yeah.
Because like I did a show one time, and DJ J-Ro was like, yo, like, should you do No Response? I'm like, absolutely fucking not. Why would I do that? Like, yeah, no. So, but yeah, man, I dropped it and it started picking up out of nowhere. So crazy.
No Response. I have Valhalla, and I got a
Valhalla.
parentheses. I'm like bars. It's just bars. All right, so
That's what I tried. Thank
listen
you.
to that one. Valhalla, bars,
Valhalla.
straight bars. And then Wicked. Okay, so
love
Wicked. Nah, Wicked is fucking wicked, bro. All pun intended. Hit that bell for me one time, please. It's fucking wicked up in this bitch. I'll tell you that, man. So Wicked. You made a music video to it. That's actually one of the only music videos that you do have out, including yourself.
Yeah.
It's funny. I think that you put low budget in the
Hell yeah,
parentheses,
dude. Hell
man.
yeah.
But it came out really, really well.
Thank you.
You're in your car. It looks like you were definitely at least 3 to 4 locations within that music video. You did that by yourself.
Yep. Literally.
That's the hustle, bro. That's the grind. That's the
what it
respect,
is.
bro. That is so commendable on you to do that, man. But the
Thank you.
song, the beat, the breakdown, like the way you attacked that song, and the second verse was dope because like you just roll right into the second verse with the breakdown of the drums.
Yeah.
And that shit is sick, bro.
Thank you, bro.
Is that one of your favorite songs?
I was definitely one of my top. And anybody who I talk to or my fans that'll be like, DMing me or commenting and stuff, that's definitely one of their top songs. And I think one of my best lyrically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
for sure. Production wise, everything.
The flow, production wise, man. And that song, how old is that song to you?
That's how old is it?
Yeah.
I think it's close to a year because I think I did that back when I came back from LA. So it's not that old, but honestly, it still gets jammed. People still love it to this day. It's one of my most talked about. So
and it's got a visual.
Relevant.
It's got a visual. I know someone did a reaction video to it, man.
Yeah, a couple people did, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of there's definitely a lot of YouTubers, small YouTubers, some that are decently up there that like to react to my shit. And I'm so thankful just to have that opportunity,
Isn't that so cool, man?
It's cool. I was already watching it before I got here. I was like, let me just remind myself really quick.
No, I was watching it as well today. It's a fantastic video. It's a fantastic song.
Thank you, man.
If I had to say, that is probably personally between that and Valhalla, those are probably, and the third one that I'm going to mention are probably my top three.
Okay.
I would go Wicked, Valhalla, and then actually I'd go Wicked, But My Love, then Valhalla.
Yes.
And I'll say But My Love, man, because I think, I was inspiration, stuff like that. In parentheses, I'm like Logic. I'm like, this is a fucking Logic. Like, you fucking killed that.
Thank
bro.
you.
It's really good.
Thank you.
I even heard in that song in the second verse, you were talking about how your producer left. Your producer had left you, and it's like, well, no love lost. I still love you like a brother, but I got to keep going.
Yeah.
Very similar with my editor, man.
I know.
No love lost, bro. We love you, but we got to keep going.
It happens.
Yeah,
it happens. People got, different things to do in their life.
And that's one of your newer singles. So I'm assuming that's
is.
probably going to make its way onto your album.
I would like to think so, but you never know.
No guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees, but it did really well. But My Love definitely is also one of my favorites because that's lyrically as well. And I had that in the vault, not recording wise, but just the beat alone. I had that in the vault for years, and I was like, damn, when am I ever going to give myself the opportunity to do this? And I did, and I loved it.
I think the public loved it as well. That's definitely a really great song. So as I said, Wicked, But My Love, Valhalla. That's me for the top three right there.
Thank you.
At this moment in the show, I want to tune into Tea Time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. These Arizonas are sweating. It is extremely hot outside. The AC is going. Welcome to summer 2025.
Hell yeah.
Some ASMR for my people. Cheers, my good man.
Cheers.
Salud.
I've been waiting for it.
Los, hit that bell for me 3 times, please. Hell yeah. I love it. That's one of my favorite things to do, bro. You know how Tea Time works, man. We got some questions in the pot. I need you to pick a question. We're going to see what we get today. Welcome to Tea Time, not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea.
All right. Okay.
If you can read it, great, but my handwriting is not the best.
Okay.
Yeah, he's having trouble.
Listen, my handwriting is shit. This is better than mine. Let's see. What color are you? Mood or feeling?
Okay, and that is from who? Did it say, was that from anyone who? Okay, no, it was a question that I put in there.
Yes, sir.
What color are you, mood or feeling? What color are you, mood or feeling?
Good question.
That is a Tea Time question of the day.
Tea Time question of the day. It's like an actual color, right?
Yeah,
what color
an
am I
actual
feeling?
color.
I don't know. I've always resonated with blue.
Okay.
I think blue it's just, in my eyes, could be perfect, not just because my eyes are blue, but it's definitely gives you that feeling. Just, I don't really know. It's just a vibe. Blue is a vibe, and it gives you that calm feeling. And
Yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
I think we did this question before with Shams.
did we?
I think we did this question before with Shams. I like blue. I think he said blue as well, and I said orange because I remember saying orange because I was like, yeah, it's in a mix of between yellow and red. So yellow's bright, red is fucking fiery. I'm like in between. I'm the orange.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, there's another question. This is the last question in this pot. We're gonna restock on the questions. Pull this question out real quick. Let's see what we got.
Crazy.
This is a 2-time. Oh shit! There's no more questions in the pot.
What?
Wait, what? I could have swore I saw 2 in here.
I could. Yeah. I thought I felt too.
Wow, what an anomaly we are having right now. This is incredible. Okay. Question of the hour, question of the day. I'm usually pretty good at coming up with these on the spot.
Let's hear it.
So if a turtle can move at 50 miles an hour, and a dinosaur is flying at 53 miles an hour. Nah. Let me chill out. Okay, all right, hold on. Let's think about a real question. I think one hell of an anomaly. Okay, if you could go into any anomaly on this planet and make it out alive, where would you go?
Oh, damn.
Bermuda Triangle. That's where the fuck I'm going because I'm so
Really?
fascinated. I need to know what's in there, bro. I need to know what's
if you can make
going
it out,
on.
Yeah, if you can make it out.
Yeah. I need you. You can make it out, bro. No matter what, you're making it out. You're making it out. Whether it be the other side of Australia, because no one knows what the hell's on the other side of Australia.
Yo.
Not even the Australians know what's on the other side of Australia. Mate,
oh my god.
how was that?
Yo, I actually, you know what? I like that. Bermuda Triangle, I like that. There's a couple, what is it? Like, you got some planes that go missing and shit like that?
Dude,
like,
you got planes, you got
find
ships.
them.
And what's so unique about it is that it's just off the coast of Florida,
I
dude.
know.
It's not far.
You're not
It's
going
really
far. I don't understand that.
And like with all this advanced technology that we have, it is mind blowing.
It's weird, right?
It's
A little too weird.
It's really, really weird, man.
That's a little above my pay grade.
What about Area 51? What about?
Oh, I'd like to go to Area 51.
There's a place in one of the poles, whether it be north or south, I don't know, but it's like blacked out on the map. Yeah, it's like
I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking
government ran and stuff like that, man. Those are some of the things that I would like to go and see.
I like, yeah, bro. Area 51. That's definitely sticking out. I mean, you believe in aliens?
Of course, you do. Yeah, do you?
Okay.
Right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. There's too much strange shit.
Yeah, I mean the New Jersey shit. That thing never got solved,
Mm-mm.
and it really teed me off. It was definitely our government, no doubt about it. No doubt about it, because you really think they're gonna let these things hover over and not shoot it down or nothing?
Yeah,
come on. Now. Who are we? Come on. What do
They
you think?
they definitely found them. They probably got them in Area 51. I like to know.
No, of course.
They definitely got like lightsabers and shit in there. It's probably so far advanced.
It's so far advanced, but yet we haven't figured out the anomaly of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah,
right?
You think that's government related?
No,
or you think it's just
no.
its own little entity?
The reason I don't think it's government related because Christopher Columbus I watched this whole video on it, man. It was bad. Christopher Columbus, he had wrote in his journal about how the compass was acting strange.
Yeah,
you know,
it was like wonky.
And like at that point, like our government was not advanced in my opinion. You know, they weren't that. Yeah, there wasn't a thing exactly.
Yeah, when he was discovering,
came over and settled in America. But yeah, man, that's. I don't think it's government related. I think it's just one of those anomalies.
Weird things.
You ever see? I think it's off like the coast of California or something. There's a hole of water. They call it the Devil's Water Hole.
Yeah,
that's something.
There's a lot of strange shit. Like the devil. Yeah, you mentioned the devil's. Like, did you ever hear like the Devil's Crossroad? You ever hear that?
No, I've never heard of the Devil's Crossroad.
It's apparently like, I don't know if it's in Maine or something, but it's apparently like this crossed road or something where people go and I guess they never come back, which is so weird.
That is so weird.
It's like a Bermuda Triangle, I guess. Yeah, I guess you could say. I don't know, man. Weird shit.
Weird shit. But that is Tea Time. Not brought to you by, but inspired by Arizona Iced Tea. That was a question on the spot. I thought it went really, really good.
Killed it. Absolutely killed it. Cheers. You getting this?
I will. I want to do a vlog going to their factory. That's what I want to do.
That'd be cool.
I should do it one day. It's just money, you know. Get it down, get it right.
Yeah.
But listen, man, you've mentioned LA a handful of times. Yes. Los Seneca, bro.
Yes, sir.
You're that's where you want to go. That's where you want to be. You have visited.
Mm-hmm.
What draws you to LA? It's just a city of dreams.
Yeah, man. So I don't even know if it's realistically LA itself or if it's just like when you think of LA, you think of people who made it. Hollywood. Essentially. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you think of people who were where you are and now they're completely different. They're where they're at. They're doing what they were meant to do. So it's kind of like I solidified that with like the dream in a sense, you know, like not necessarily like, damn, LA's where it's at, but it's like the dream is where it's at. And just somehow everybody ends up there. It's nice. It's nice.
So you have visited. How recent? What was your most recent visit?
That was March of last year.
March of last
24, yeah.
And you had mentioned that your engineer lives out there?
Yeah, so we actually, and I've known my producer engineer for a while, for a couple of years now, and he was like, "Yo, like, you got to come out to LA. You got to come out to LA." And I was like, I mean, I've definitely always wanted to go to LA, but you know, LA's not cheap.
Not cheap at all, brother.
And back then, I was at a point where it's like, damn, like, how am I gonna get there? I'm not driving, that's for sure. Like, I drove to South Carolina once. I'm not taking long drives again. So yeah, he was like, yeah, I'm staying with Hunter, who's a TikToker, pretty big TikToker, who I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know at first, but Hunter's a great guy. Hunter Rowland, thank you for allowing me to stay there. But yeah, so I literally booked it 2 nights before, booked the flight, and I didn't sleep for maybe 48 hours because I had to drive all the way to New York to get on the JFK. It's a 6-hour flight, and you stop in Atlanta and you have to run all the way on the other side of the airport.
Oh man,
it was a trip, that's for sure. But you get to LA, man, it's beautiful out there. The people are so nice. Like, I helped a lady with her just bringing her trash can to the curb, and the neighborhood gave me a standing ovation. Like,
no way.
Yeah, bro. Listen, it's nice. It's nice out there. It's definitely, you feel the different energy, the positive energy, and that's a great place to be.
Excuse me. Wow. Were you recording your debut album?
I was. Yeah, that's where the bare bones structure kind of came into play for it. And
bare bone structure, as in like how you foresaw the album being pieced together.
Yeah.
What you wanted to represent.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's it about? What are we putting on it? What's the story we're trying to tell here?
Let's hear it, brother.
Yeah.
I need to hear it right now.
You need to hear it right now.
Yeah, all those things that you just said, we need to hear all of it.
So literally first night, and this is what I'm talking, like Chris's creative process is just so different with him being in the industry so long. Not something I was ever used to. I get there, obviously, as I mentioned, long ass flight, long ass trip. I'm adjusting to the West Coast time because they're 3 hours behind us. And as soon as I get in the house, I meet Hunter and everything, and we go to his studio. I sit down. I'm like, oh, like, fuck. All right. He's like, yo, he played a beat. And he's like, write to this right now. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, write to it right now. He's like, I want a full verse in 2 minutes. I was like, 2 minutes? Fuck, dude. Like, so I'm trying to come together. And we did that. He really, because that was like his, I'm trying to take you from good to great. And in order to do that, and you want to be at a certain point, you're going to have
Rick Rubin, bro.
He's like a Rick Rubin. Yeah. Which I'm sure Rick is nicer, but we don't know yet. Man, he's really gung-ho. He's really like now, which I was not used to, obviously, especially as a lyricist. I like to not take my time, but definitely get in the groove.
Yeah.
And he was no bullshit. Like, you got to do it now. So yeah, we started, we're talking about it. We're talking about the album and what I want it to be about and everything. And it's, I guess, accumulation of everything that kind of happened in my past and everything that I've seen from my own eyes and to what I really found on the journey that is life. It's everybody has their own journey, of course, but it's kind of like, this is my journey and you'll probably relate to it because you've probably been through the same thing. Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm at now and this is where I plan to be. So, there's like 14 tracks on it, including an intro and an outro. So it's hefty. It's different, definitely different than a lot of the stuff I've done lyrically wise, flow wise. He's definitely trying to
broaden your horizons.
Broaden my horizons, exactly. So, there's definitely a couple songs on there that are more like me, definitely more like me and the ones that I love and are close to my heart. And you have others that are it really just comes together and tells a story.
And so what is the name of this debut album?
What I Found.
What I Found.
What I Found.
What I Found. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, and what's the timeline on that?
Probably within the next couple months. I'm hoping to have it completely finished by summertime, and then we can, take it to whoever we need to take it to, and hopefully it'll be dropped.
And what song, if you had to choose one, should everyone listen to?
I would say 2. It's between Orange County and For You, which are completely different songs. Orange County is more of a, and Chris, he's a little older. So, when we were planning this album, he's like, we need to have this, we need to have this. And I was like, man, you know what? I really want to have a vibe driving at 2 a.m. kind of song. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, bro, like
So
everybody.
what the fuck does that mean, dude?
He's like, yeah. He's like, who the fuck drives in their car at 2 a.m.? He's like, that's a waste of gas. I'm like, okay, dude, clearly, you know, you got a little bit of age on me, but everybody I know does it. So
yeah, 4 a.m. at the riverbank.
4 a.m. at the riverbank and you're driving. So yeah, I definitely accumulated a lot of emotion into that song. And then For You's kind of just spitting some shit like a Valhalla or a Wicked. So I'm hoping it, you know, stays on the totem of that and can compare to those two.
Very nice, man. Very nice. Well, Los, it's been a pleasure having you on the Middleman Podcast, bro. We're getting ready to sign off the air here. But before we get off the air here, we like to give the floor to our guests. So if there's anything that you want to say to the people, everyone watching at home, the floor is yours, man. Take it away.
Thank you. Yo, first I want to say shout out to the Middleman, man. Thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And to everybody out there watching, thank you for watching. One of the worst quotes I've ever heard was be realistic. So make sure anything you want to do in life, you say, fuck it. What's the worst that can happen? Get it done. He likes that.
I didn't. That's what a great quote. I like that.
Thank you.
What a shitty quote.
What a shitty quote.
What a
but
shitty
thank you.
fucking quote, man.
Thanks,
hey,
man.
but with that being said, guys, make sure you guys check out Los Seneca here, man. He's got one hell of a flow, one hell of a style. If you enjoy lyricism, if you enjoy bar heavy music, this is an artist for you. Make sure you guys check it out. Although I won't put him in a box, man. He makes a lot of different types of music, man.
Thank you so much.
You know,
man.
I'm excited to see your album coming out. I'm excited to see you transcend and grow, and hopefully you'll be in LA where you belong, my brother.
Hopefully, yo.
And with that being said, everyone, I am the man in the middle, Kevin Martinez, signing out. Peace.